Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Nick. Nick is from Rhode Island in the USA. So let's see what Nick has to say. Enjoy the interview. So hello Nick, how are you?
Good. How are you, William? Thanks for having me on the show.
The pleasure is all mine. Thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview. Thank you.
Of course.
So tell me, how's your day going so far?
Honestly, I haven't done much other than woke up, got my hair ready for the interview, and then and now we're doing this. So
Do you consider yourself to be more of a day or a night person?
I would say more of a night person
Uh-huh.
in general. When I was younger, I definitely used to stay up till 3 a.m. and I'd work late and whatnot. But now I do go to bed like around like midnight or so.
Mhm.
But I see myself as more of a night person for sure.
I see. And tell me where you're from, Nick.
I'm from Rhode Island, which is located in the U.S. It's the smallest state.
Uh-huh.
So, and I also grew up in Massachusetts as well. So I'm very on the, I'm close to the border of both states.
Oh, I see. And why Rhode Island?
My family's from here. Um, you know, I moved to Mass for 10 years and then I got a really good deal on my house here. So now I'm like 10 minutes from my family. And they always say, like, people from Rhode Island, no matter where you end up moving, like, you always end up back. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if I'm here forever, but it's a good spot for now.
Amazing. And what do you do for work for living, Nick?
Right now, I'm currently a project manager.
Mhm.
I used to be a news promotions writer producer for years.
Oh, wow.
So I had a career switch about 3 years ago, and it's gone pretty well. Like, I'm learning a lot, and especially about like the corporate world. Um, talking like professionally, like just there's a lot of new things that I'm still learning, but I think this is definitely more of the path for me, especially because the hours personally, I like the hours personally. Like I said, I work nights a lot. So when I was in news, I would always be working like 3:30 to 11:30 at night. And then I'd come home and then I'd watch some shows and like try to like settle down. So I think that's why I am more of like a night owl in general, but now I have like a normal schedule so I can have time to do other things that I want to do.
I see. Okay, so during the interview, I'm going to explore a bit more about your life and also about your journey so far, okay?
Okay.
But before we start our journey within the Magic Box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself or maybe something that not many people know about you.
Hmm. I think of like a fun fact. Okay, there is one that's kind of crazy. When I was a child, I usually don't share this story. A goat horn somehow got into my mouth and like cut the roof of my mouth open, and I had to go to the hospital. And like I didn't have any damage or blood, or there was no brain damage or anything. But like when I was at a petting zoo, the goat literally like rammed a horn into my mouth and like split it open on the top. So it's usually a very bizarre story I don't share, but I guess I'm telling you now.
Oh, wow. Wait a minute, let's see if I understood. A goat got into your mouth.
Yes.
Wow.
The goat, like, yeah, like I was at a petting zoo, like petting the baby goats, and I'm pretty sure, like, from what my mom said, like the mom or the dad goat, like, rammed into me, like, and like somehow the horn got in my mouth and like sliced the top of it open.
Oh,
So
my,
yeah, and I couldn't have stitches, and it healed naturally. But that's like my petting zoo drama, like I guess. So that
wow.
is one thing I guess most people, I guess, don't know about me.
Wow. And how old were you at the time?
Three.
Oh my God, such a small boy. Oh,
I
sweet.
know, I know.
And
So
I'm sure you don't remember it, for sure. You don't remember that.
again, I don't know why I picked such a traumatizing story, but it is a
No,
weird.
it
It's
just came to
weird.
your mind. It's not wrong or right. I think that's, those things in life just happens, and it just leave a memory. It could be bad or thing or adventures or it just leave
Yeah,
a mark somehow.
exactly.
Oh, sweet, very sweet. Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Mhm.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Full of random fun questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play a song just for us to relax before the first question, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Right, so before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to answer, don't want to talk about, always can change, okay?
Okay.
Right, first question is, what do you consider, what things do you consider to be relationship deal breakers?
Not being funny
Mm-hmm.
and not being authentic. I think that with people in my life, when I say not funny, I'm not saying someone has to be a comedian, but I really do appreciate like a good sense of humor in any relationship in my life, tastefully, you know. And I think that being authentically yourself is also something that I gravitate towards.
And how do you find the dating life in your in the area where you live? Do you think that it's easy to go on a date? People they prefer to date online. There are places where people can hang out and sometimes find someone interesting. How does it work in your opinion over there?
For like dating wise,
Yeah.
well, for myself, I've been in a relationship for 14 years.
Oh
so
my
I
God.
have not, so I have not, yes, I have not gone on like I'm not sure what the dating scene's like for to be honest, but I know from like friends it's pretty rough out there.
Oh wow. My God, 14
14
years.
years. Yep. This
That's
July
beautiful.
4th.
Right. So tell me how you and your partner crossed paths for the first time, if you can share.
Yeah, of course. So I've been with my partner David for like I said almost 14 years. I was 18 and I was just kind of learning that I was gay. Like I've always been I was always like curious, I think, in like especially later high school. Like and I thought maybe I would be bi and I didn't know if I was gay, a lot of questions. And then my senior year I definitely felt like, I am gay and like I'm gonna come out. So right after graduation, you know how the gays work. We add people that we think are cute on Facebook or whatever, and David had added me, and then I think I messaged him, and then honestly, it went from there. And I was not out of the closet yet, so I had been dating him about 3 to 4 months, and then I came out to my family, and I've been with him ever since. And I'm 32 now, so being your relationship definitely changes when you're 18 to 32. And I guess in gay years, that's a big accomplishment. Um, but no, yeah, we just love to hang out together. We're best friends. We love traveling the world. I mean, um, but yeah, like when it comes to like the dating scene, I'm not sure because I didn't really go on too many dates.
Amazing. Wow, what a beautiful story. I think when you meet someone, you just know it. You just know it's the right person and it feels
Yeah,
great. It feels safe. It feels like, it feels like it just genuinely feel okay, this person meant to be around my life. That's for sure.
right.
Okay, so your partner David is watching this interview right now. When you have a moment and send him a message, what would you say?
um, My message to David would be thank you for, taking care of me and Belle and always making me laugh and being there through the good times and the bad times. Especially we've had loss in our life, which was pretty hard for me. I lost my grandmother almost 4 years ago, and that was really hard. And he's just been there through me throughout the whole grieving process and then letting me laugh, cry whenever. And yeah, he's just you're a really good shoulder to lean on. I appreciate and I love you.
Oh, beautiful, sweet, very sweet. Next question. All right.
Am I getting it right?
Of course you are.
Okay.
Amazing. Next question is, what is the most memorable lesson you've learned from your parents?
I would say my mom, especially, is one of the most kind, hardworking people I know. And she had me when she was 16 years old. And, even at one point, she worked like 3 jobs. So I could be like in like private school and whatnot. So I'd say like one of the most important lessons is like just be hardworking and kind. And, I think I've gotten my personality from my mom where it's like we talk to everyone. We're social people. Um, and but it's in a good way, you know, like, again, she's authentic, and I think people gravitate towards that energy, which I said I like earlier, I love gravitating towards. So my mom has just always been like a big inspiration for me to, like I said, work hard, but like be kind and always treat others like with respect.
Oh, and do you have siblings as well, brother and sisters or not?
I do. I actually have four. I have two on my mom's side, and I have two on my dad's side.
Wow, family.
Mhm.
And do you? So tell me what's the as you're talking about your mom, how similar you are, and tell me what's the biggest difference between both of you.
The difference is I don't think my mom would do things like this, like go like on interviews and put herself out there like on like, social media like probably the way I do. And like I'm very into theater and like, acting and things like that. So I think I'm definitely more like creative than my mom, like with like that aspect, but she is also very creative too. Like she's always like putting like gift things together and when there's a party, my mom always goes all out and she's looking at all like the little details to make it, special. So, but yeah, my like I would say like I'm definitely more of like an on-camera person and having fun like this, and she probably wouldn't. I can't see her doing it.
Oh wow! You know, it's interesting you saying that when your mom had you, she was 16 years old. My mom, she was 18 when she had me, and it's so great to growing up with have very young parents. You know, I'm sure you had situations where they thought somebody thought they were your cousin, they were your brother.
Mhm.
I had so many situations that I'm gonna share with you the latest one. So when my mom, I'm originally from Brazil, yeah,
Okay.
and I had so many situations with my dad growing up as I was very young, and I remember like they liked it and they were making jokes sometimes. They'll go with the flow when people was misunderstanding me and my sister. And I remember the last one that happened was for my mom's 51st birthday. I brought her to Europe for the first time, and we did like a tour around Europe, and we went to Paris together,
Oh,
and
awesome.
we went to the Eiffel Tower, and of course the Eiffel Tower is full of tourists out there. At one point, I was just take some pictures. We were walking around, and she was literally walking in front of me. And suddenly, this couple, there was a couple. The lady kind of was crossing between me and my mom, and her partner pulled her back and said, "Let her husband go as well first." She thought I was, he thought that was my mom's husband, and I look at him. I was like, "She's my mom." He was like, "I'm terribly sorry." I was like, "No, no, no. It's her birthday. You made her day. It's totally fine."
Mhm.
And my mom, she doesn't speak English, so she was like, why are you in talks to them?" And I was like, "Oh, they thought I was your husband." She was like, "Oh, really? Oh, that's amazing." That was so.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah,
I
I
know.
get we get stuff like that all the time. Like it's always like everyone thinks she's my sister.
Yeah.
Even other family members, like one time, like you, I was like at a we were shopping or something. I was with my aunt and I was holding my like little cousin because there's a big age difference, and she's like, "Oh, what a beautiful baby you both have," and I'm like, "I'm with my aunt," and like holding her baby, and like we were just like laughing. We still laugh about it this day because it was just we just went with it. We're like, thank you," you know. Oh my goodness, that's so funny.
I know, I love it, and I think it's fun. That's the beauty of it. I think have younger parents. I think it's great because you can play around sometimes naturally.
Yeah. My mom always says at the end of the day, like, I'm your mom first and then your friend. So, like, her and I are best friends. We're very close.
Uh-huh.
She's very close to my partner. We talk almost every day. But if there is something like where I need something or I need parental advice, like she's always there first with that.
Uh,
So
Very good. Send my regards to her. Okay.
yeah.
Next question. Okay, before the question, of course, when I was checking your profile, it says there the Wicked Pumpkin. Yeah. So
hmm
tell me about it. Why this name on your Instagram page?
So for years I was talking about like I wanted to go on YouTube and start like a show where I go to different places. And at first it started off as like Next Picks. And I just don't think I've had fully like really the equipment and full motivation to do it at the time. Cause like I said, I know like they say you should just pick it up with the camera and start, but like I had a vision, I want it to be perfect. But now I'm learning after doing this a bit, you can't worry about that. But um, I think back in 2022, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. And then it was like kind of coming up with a name. And I love Halloween. I love spooky stuff. I love horror. So I was like, how can I mix like something spooky into like New England vibes or whatever? And I say the word wicked a lot, like that in here in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, we're always like, that's so wicked good. That's wicked awesome, or like if you were to be like, was it good? And I'd be like, wicked, you know? So I think, and then wicked can also mean like something spooky. So I think like the original intent was I was going to go to like spooky places probably and try different things. But I noticed more of my content. I haven't really been visiting necessarily like spooky places, but kind of things that are like sometimes quirky and fun and whatever. So I don't know. The name just kind of stuck, and like I'm kind of quirky, so I think the Wicked Pumpkin is just like a fun name for the page and kind of describes me a little bit.
Amazing. And I was checking some of your pictures, your videos is amazing. I can see your vibe there, and I think that's great.
Thank
It's
you. I
amazing.
appreciate that. I'm hosting my first Pride event coming up in June at this bar called Deadbeats. And, that was my first video that kind of like really wanted me to keep going because um, it like I reached like 125,000 views or something like that. So for me, that was like a big deal at the time. I'm like, oh, I can actually do something with this. And then there definitely was like a little lull for a bit after that. And then recently, it's like, you know what? My goal is to post every Wednesday, be consistent,
Yeah.
and I've been getting more motivated, honestly, again, to keep this going. So I appreciate you saying that, and like even you like interviewing me at first, I was like, is this real? Like, no one's ever asked me to like do an interview, and my friend Brandon, who was on your show, was like, yes, like William's awesome, like I go for it. I was like, okay, so.
Oh, that's sweet. So you know him as well. Oh, that's
I know
nice.
Brandon, yeah. Sometimes he bartends there, so no, he's
Oh, that,
awesome.
so tell about this event that you organized in June, so you can promote a little bit.
Mm. So honestly, I'm just calling it Pride Pregame because in Providence, Rhode Island, we are known for having like one of the best prides, like I think in the world, to be honest.
Oh,
And it's just such a good way for like the community to come together. You see people from other states and countries there too, and it's such a small city. It's not like Boston where it is or New York City. Providence is a small city, but you just see a lot of people come and gather in this one place because it feels like a safe space. So I've loved going to Pride for years, and then I was just kind of like, this might be an opportunity to collaborate with Deadbeats, that video I went big with, and I'm like, they're not considered like a gay bar, but at this point, like they are accepting of everybody, and there are a lot of LGBTQ plus people that go in there. So I was talking to Courtney, I was like, she's the owner of Deadbeats. I was like, how would you feel about like collaborating on like a Pride pregame like event? So Pride's always like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but I was thinking Thursday, it's like a pregame for anybody who wants to go out, and it's literally just drinks, some drag, and some music, and like it's just getting together. So I'm hoping it's a fun time. I'll be there on the microphone promoting the queens, the kings, the bartenders, and I'm really excited for it. I hope it's a success.
wow. And which day is going to be?
It's June 19th
June
at
19th.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Beautiful. Next question is, what would your ideal life look like?
My ideal life, honestly, is just being healthy and happy. I think as I've gotten older, health is so important, and meaning like you everyone has a clock, right? And I think that you can't buy time back, and you can't buy that. So I think being surrounded by like people like who really make you genuinely happy, and bringing good energy, and like going to the doctor every year just to make sure you're okay, like just keeping up with it, because that's what it's really about, is like living in the moment and having a good time. If you would ask me like 10 years ago, I'd say being famous, and obviously I still like to be on camera. I'm putting myself out there, but
Of course.
that's not like my top priority anymore. Like it's something that I do aspire to do, like put my name out there, but now it would just be like being healthy and happy.
Amazing. Saying that, do you think that happiness is a choice?
What was that?
Do you think that happiness is a choice?
That's a tough question. I think it can be, but I think it can happen organically. I don't know. I'm not a mental health expert, so I don't want to speak for anybody except for myself about happiness.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's days where I do have a rough day and I'm not happy, and sometimes I'm like, you need to do something to make you happy, so I'll go watch like a favorite movie or a show, or I love music, so music gets me through everything. So if I have a bad day at work or in general or whatever, I go in the car and I put on Lady Gaga and I blast it and pretend I'm a pop star, and that makes me happy, you know? So I really do try my best
Love it.
in moments. I think you can try to choose to be happy, but sometimes maybe you can't.
Totally understand. I got your point. I think I'm the same as well. I think happiness, sometimes can be a mindset, but some days just it's not there, and it's not wrong with that. I think some days, even if you try, I think all of us we are trying to be happy, to have this great vibe about happiness. However,
Mhm.
some days just it's not there. You cannot make up, you cannot come somehow put it out some happy moments, but it's not there. But
Right.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, and it's okay as well. I think being happy or not be okay is still okay. You just need to uh, to enjoy both and see why you are feeling happy, why you're feeling sad, and that's how it goes.
And I think sometimes, like you said, you need to be angry or sad sometimes to then
Totally.
enjoy happiness or be happy again. Because sometimes you
Yeah,
gotta let it all out, and
yeah,
then it makes you feel better sometimes, you know? And then you're like, okay, I actually feel great that I've gone through whatever process I'm going through to get here, and you appreciate it.
absolutely. Next question. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Next question is: Who is your biggest hero?
Hmm. Well, I mentioned my mom earlier. Um, yeah, I'd have to say probably my mom. Like, I really do feel like she would be there for me in a heartbeat. Like I said, I aspire to be someone like her, even though we are very similar and very different at the same time. I appreciate everything that she's done for me and still does, and creating that. Like I said, I'm 32, and a fun fact is she still puts an egg hunt together for my siblings and I, with like adult prizes and like money
Oh,
and things like that. So, because none of us have, kids yet. Not saying that I'm having children, or I don't know if my brother and sister will, but she likes to create that magic and keep like that nostalgia alive, which I really appreciate.
wow.
So yeah, I think and like I said, all those other reasons I mentioned earlier. So I'd have to say she's probably my hero.
And as you mentioned as well about your grandmother, she passed away a few years ago, and for you was a tough, difficult situation for you at the time, of course. And
Hmm.
when you think about her, what's the best memory that comes to your mind?
My grandmother.
Yeah,
Oh, so my grandmother is actually my mom's mom, who I mentioned. So we've gone through this together. But I'd have to say, um, probably going to Disney World together. We have so many good memories, my grandmother and I. But when I was younger, I was older than my brother and sister. So like the first time we ever went, like I wanted to get up early and like go, go, go. And my like siblings, my mom's trying to get them together. So I remember she had never gone to like Disney World before, and I think her first ride was like Expedition Everest. And she was like, "What am I getting myself into?" And it was just so funny to get like remember us both laughing, like going backwards on the roller coaster, and and then I brought her on Tower of Terror and some other crazy rides, and um, yeah, I would just say like our Disney trips were just so like memorable, like. But there's so many I have.
question for you: Do you think one day you're gonna meet her again?
Yeah, honestly, I think that she's still like here with
Mhm.
me in like my heart.
Yeah,
Um, I think that she's present, meaning like I don't know, like honestly, what religion exists or no religion. I'd say I'm more like agnostic. I grew up very Catholic, and I don't consider myself to be Catholic anymore. Um, but we did go to like a medium, and he was saying things that were like interesting, like could she be
mhm.
here? So I took it with like a grain of salt. Like it did bring some like, oh, okay, like that made sense, but I still question everything.
Of course.
um so I think I hope to meet her again one day, and in like when my time is up, you know. But I do dream of her. I do she thinks she's still around me in all different ways.
I get it. I got goosebumps saying that. It's beautiful because I'll tell you something. I think our loved ones, when they go, it's just they just go to a place where but they're gonna be always around us with their
Yep.
presence, with, as I said, in your heart, with the memories, in your dreams. I
Yep.
was very close to my grandmother, and sometimes I have some dreams with her, and sometimes I wake up like, I say, my God, I felt like she was around, or she came to see me, or her
Mm.
presence was around, and my grandfather as well. Time to time, doesn't happen very often, but sometimes I just have this nice dream with them, and suddenly when I wake up, I feel happy. I was like, oh, I felt like they've been here when I was sleepy or something like that. So I get your point. I think their memories, is going to be always there, and I think that's the beauty of our connection with our loved ones, for sure.
I agree. I had a similar dream the other night. Like it's so funny that you mentioned that. Literally last week, um, like I had a dream, which is like rare to have
Hmm.
of her, and it was just like it felt so real. But I woke up
Yeah.
happy. I wasn't like crying or sad. I was like, oh, that actually was a really nice dream.
For example, I'm going to share a story with you as well. Back to my mom. So this grandmother, I still have from my dad's side, I still have my grandmother along with us. But so the grandmother who passed away is my mom's mother as well. And I remember once when she passed away, my mom was, took time for her to recover, to kind of get herself. And she was all the time, till sometimes she was, feeling sad and that. And she told me a story, a situation that she was lying on the sofa back in Brazil. She was just lying down, and she felt like she fell asleep, and suddenly she had a dream that my grandmother came to see her, and she was just touching her shoulder like that. And when she woke up, she kind of woke up, and she felt a little bit like her shoulder was a bit heavy, like different. And she said
Hmm.
from that day on, she never felt this sadness anymore. When she was thinking about her, she had this smile, she had this nostalgia moment, but this very sadness moment that she was having before, she never had after that day. I'm sorry. And I think it makes sense. I think sometimes their presence somehow they just come to comfort us and to on their way to say that they are in a good place somehow. You know what I mean? And that's makes a difference sometimes for sure.
Well, thank you for sharing because that's a beautiful story too. I love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. 3 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, before the next question, I want to check your profile, and actually, I was a bit curious about it. Let's
Okay.
talk about New England.
Yes.
When I thought about New England before, I thought it was a state, but I was reading a little bit before, and so New England, it's a region, it's area in
Hmm.
the U.S. Tell me a
Yes.
little bit about it.
New England definitely has its own culture for sure. Like, you have the South, the Midwest, the West Coast. New England is it's we're along the East Coast. Um I don't know. It's beautiful here. I'm not just saying that because I love it, but it's beautiful, it's crazy. We have interesting, characters here, like, with our accents and whatnot. But yeah, I just love the coastal vibes. Like,
Yeah,
I grew up going to Cape Cod a lot, which is an hour away from where I live.
right.
And just so many good memories there of going to the beach and going out to eat and getting seafood. And then I have great memories of going up to New Hampshire and, going to North Conway where like they have the White Mountains. Um, you can go to Salem, Massachusetts. I don't know if you've heard of that, like the Salem witch trials and all that. So we have Newport, which is an hour. I mean, there's so many things to do here, and you don't have to drive that far, which is great. Like, it's so like New Hampshire can be like Vermont can be like 3 hours. Maine, it's all in close distance of each other. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, I don't know. It just has this coastal vibe. We have all the four seasons here. So like we're always complaining about the weather, but that's just what New Englanders do. It's our birthright. When it's too hot, we say we want the cold. When it's cold, we want the heat. It's never the perfect temperature for us here.
Thanks for explaining that, Nick. And I'll tell you something now. Actually,
Mhm.
I think I've been there before.
Really?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Last time I went to the US was a few years ago, and my best friend he lives in Montreal, in Canada. And
Okay.
I have a friend here in London. He's English. He loved history, and he was in New York City. So he drove all the way to Montreal, and we drove from Montreal to Boston. We went to Cape Cod. We went as well to
Yes.
the gayest city,
Did you go to P-Town?
Provincetown.
Yes.
We went to Provincetown, and actually,
Awesome.
because this friend of mine, he's loved history, and I remember we were driving around after Cape Cod. We were kind of driving some places, and I think I'm gonna ask him actually, if I'm not wrong. I think I was in this area as well because he was checking, and it was a place where the English, arrived. So I was, it was something about it. He was explaining to me, but there was so much information.
Was it Plymouth?
Could be. I don't remember now because
Okay.
I have some pictures there actually. I'm gonna try to find and I'll send you when I
Yes.
see some pictures. And I remember it was so beautiful. The weather was amazing, and I was so amazed about Cape Cod as well. And Provincetown, we never heard about it before, and he didn't either. And I think he was in New York, and somebody mentioned to him, "Oh, you're going to Cape Cod? You should go to Provincetown." And I said, "Oh, really? So it's very gay there." So we kind of spent some time there, and I loved it. It was such a great trip for sure.
Oh,
So I
I
think I've been
love it.
around this area for you for sure.
Yeah, I mean Provincetown, which I call P-Town. If you're like local, that's what a lot of people call it, just P-Town. And I remember like when I was younger, I'd always call it like Providence Town when I was little. I couldn't pronounce it, but it's Provincetown.
Provincetown.
Um, we have a lot of by the way, about New England, we have a lot of towns that like you would never think they should be the way they're pronounced. Like Worcester.
Right.
If you look up the spelling of Worcester, Massachusetts later, you'll be like Worcester. We have a lot of weird town names. But going back to P-Town, I go there probably once a year, if not more. It's only 2 hours from my house. I agree. It's something there is something magical about
Yeah.
P-Town and walking down Commercial Street and then just
Yeah.
being your authentic gay self and going. I don't know if you went to the tea dance. It's like that big outdoor club, like on the water.
I think I passed by because I think the day we were there was a kind of during the week, and I wasn't was still the city was live, a lot of things happening. But I think because we had 2 days, I think only, so kind of what I mean, explore the beach there, the gay beach.
Yep.
So I kind of walk around a little bit, and it was amazing, beautiful house there. I was like, wow, beautiful mansion there. I was like, wow, that's beautiful here.
It is. I'm glad you got to go.
Amazing. Okay. Next question is, what do you think are the best traits for a person to have?
Like I said, being authentic.
Okay.
Honesty.
Yeah.
And kindness. I think kindness goes a really long way. And I know it sounds so cliche, but I've just noticed in any situation in life where I'm like being calm and kind to someone in a situation, whether, like I said, friendship related, workship related, family related, if you stay calm and you just try to be like nice about it, I think it can like really help, in any situation. And I just, I can tell you're a very kind person too, which is why this interview's been like so fun. Like you're very genuine. So like your vibes are like on point. So it's been so fun. So that is, I think that's really important, really.
Saying that, Nick, when you think about yourself, when you analyze yourself, what's the biggest joy of being you?
The biggest joy of being me is seeing like how far I've come. I think that honestly, probably before the pandemic, I've been discovering myself as a person for a long time. And I'm like really happy like where I am. Like, I am just authentically who I am. I am, openly gay. I don't care like what people think of me. And I, sometimes I do, but I think that like there's just been so many versions of myself that like this is like the Nick now, like who is staying here, and I don't care. I'm gonna say how I feel. Like that is one thing about me too. I'm very kind but also very honest. So when someone asks for my advice, like I give it how it is. And I mean it with love. I don't ever mean it to be mean. I just try to say, this is what I think about the situation. This is what I would do if my advice is asked for. And I don't know, I'm just happy to be alive, I guess, and have a good time.
Beautiful. 2 questions left. Let's do it.
Okay. Here's my wicked pumpkin that someone gave me.
Still there?
Okay.
Show me again. Let me see the pumpkin. Oh my God, that's sweet.
Yeah, my friend Armando got me this at a flea market. It's like I had to get it. I'm like, oh my God, that's so funny. So
Oh, sweet. Okay, next question for you is,
Yes.
where is the most exotic place have you ever been?
Exotic. P-Town?
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to think. I've been to. I love traveling. I don't know if it's exotic, but I'd say one of the most places like I've never seen is probably Iceland.
Okay.
Iceland's so different. Like I feel like you're in like a fairy tale world when you're there. And I went in the
Yeah.
winter, so I felt like I was an episode of Game of Thrones, like
Oh,
going through the
wow.
snow. So I don't know if that's exotic, but probably one of the most interesting and beautiful places I've ever been.
Very expensive, I heard.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. I think if personally, like I've been to Europe a few times, and I feel like it wasn't that much more expensive, but I could see it being more. Like
Yeah.
I know some people say like, oh, if you want to save on alcohol, like you can go to the airport and buy booze and stuff. But like, I'm so bad at that personally when I go on vacation. I just want someone to make my drink, and like, I'm like, I'm not doing that. But I cheers to anybody who does that.
Yeah, I've never been to Iceland actually, and I had some guests on the show actually here from Iceland and some people as well. And my bucket list for sure. I'd like to go.
You need to go. It's a different experience if you go in the winter or the summer. So I'd love to go back in
Yeah,
the summer and see all the greenery.
absolutely.
Everything was white and snow, but it was also beautiful.
Last question. Ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. Last one. Where's your pumpkin? Show me.
Happy Pride, here we go.
Yes. Right, before the last question, as you mentioned about, being openly gay, so tell me a little bit about your journey. How was for you growing up as a gay boy? Did you have the support around you? And tell me the day when you came out. Something happened or you just felt like, oh, let me just be my true self from now on, if you can share.
Of course. Um, my experience as like a gay boy wasn't always the best. I did have amazing friends that were all women or girls at the time growing up, and they were like my biggest, like, honestly, hero. They were my heroes too, because like even when I felt like, sometimes I would be bullied for either being overweight or acting gay, like even though again I didn't know I was at the time. My friends always had my back, and we just went through it together. And not saying like they'd fight back, but like they were a shoulder to lean on. And I'm still friends with some of them today, to be honest. Honestly, like two of my friends I've known since like my elementary, middle school days, and they're still two of my best friends. So it is really nice. But yeah, I was definitely bullied at points, and in high school was definitely better, but still had some comments here and there and whatnot. And I was always in like theater. I was involved with sports. I did play baseball. I hated it. I knew it wasn't for me at the time. It was like when I was younger. I did play soccer at one point. I did like it. But I wasn't like really in love with it. I always really loved like acting. Like I was involved with a lot of school plays and community theater. And I know a lot of times like there are a lot of gay people in theater. It is a little like cliche, but again, I didn't know at the time. And like I said, I mentioned I went to Catholic school my whole life. I went to
Yeah.
church. So I think like I know everyone's journey is different. I always genuinely had crushes on girls, like for real. And
Oh,
yep. And I never was like looking at things on the internet of like boys or whatnot. And then as I got older, I was like, probably like 17, and I was like, everyone's saying you're gay, but then I finally kind of realization like, oh wow, I actually could like boys, and like it's that awkwardness of like now you're gonna prove everyone right, but at the same
right.
time,
Just
I want
you.
to be
Just you.
myself.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I went to college, and like I said, I was dating David, and then I was like, you know what? I want to be open about this. Like, I don't want to hide anymore. And I think it did help for me personally to have someone by my side when I came out, because I knew like no matter what anybody thought, he was gonna stand by me, and he still
Wow.
does. Like and I'm not saying like even if we had broken up for that time in my life, David was like such a good shoulder and
Wow.
support system to have, like because I was like, well, at least I have you. But that wasn't the case. My family is amazing. My friends are amazing. Not saying there wasn't like any awkward. pinpoints along the way, but that's what I mean, like, earlier, like, I feel like I'm truly myself now because, like, even when you come out, I feel like you're still a different version
Yeah.
of you, and
Yeah.
then you keep growing and growing, and now I'm like, "This is really me now." Like, I'm really comfortable in my skin, you know?
That's amazing. Great.
Yeah.
Last question is, if you could have dinner with anyone, living or not, who that would be and why?
Hmm. Alright, so I'd probably say Miley Cyrus because
Wow.
I love her, and her and I are around the same age, and I feel like I've grown up with her in a weird way because, I've been a fan of her honestly since Hannah Montana. Like, and I was probably even too old to love her at the time, but I don't know, I've always loved Miley. She just came out with a new album this Friday, Something Beautiful. I've been a stan since the beginning, and there's a lot of like I love all the girly pop stars like Lady Gaga. I'm obsessed with and whatnot, but I really would love to meet Miley and just
Wow.
kind of like understand her journey. And she seems really real and authentic for a celebrity too.
Let's say that we are going on to have a dinner with her. What would be your first question to her?
Um, what was it like being Hannah Montana? And I know she's probably so sick of hearing it, but it is something you want to know. Like, what was it like behind the scenes at Disney, and what was it like? I think she's more accepting of it now, from what I realized. I think when she came out with like her Bangers album, she was very like anti Hannah, like I don't want to talk about it. She's
Yeah.
dead. And I noticed recently, like she won like a Disney Icon Award, and like she seems to be more embracing it again.
Yeah.
So I think she would be comfortable sharing. You know?
Wow. It's interesting saying that because some artists they have those roles and it stays for it's impossible not to disconnect some because it's so strong and real and beautiful and
Hmm.
inspiring, and I'm sure she understands now. The older you get, somehow you know what, it's part of my career, it's part of my life, it's always going to be
Yeah.
there. So but I understand sometimes can be a bit sick as well because my god, it's always it's not that anymore. I'm a different person, but I understand. And yeah, good one.
Actually, I'd probably change that back. I would probably ask her if she could sing "The Climb" live because I've always wanted to hear that song live. So just have her start bursting out in dinner into song. So that would be my
Nice.
question.
Beautiful. Right, so on the internet, let's play now the word association game. I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
Okay. Let's start with money,
Greed,
family,
love,
fear,
mm, fight,
life,
beautiful,
love,
incredible,
religion,
confusing,
sex.
amazing,
I like what you say. Amazing.
amazing,
Politics.
important,
Okay. Friendship.
needed,
Desire.
mm, dreams,
Regret.
life,
Success.
failure,
Wish.
Disney.
Happiness.
um,
Disney. I'm joking.
travel,
Good one. One word for Rhode Island.
mighty,
One word
mighty
for
but small.
One word for USA.
A one word? Oh, this is hard. Um, complicated.
All right. And the last one now, the Wicked Pumpkin. One word.
Follow.
Yeah, I, I love it. I love it. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your partner, David, for a coffee.
Okay.
I'm going to ask him.
Okay.
Define Nick in one positive and one negative word only. What he would say.
Positive word. Um, lovable.
Okay.
Negative word. I don't know. Crazy.
Crazy. Okay. If
Because
all
like
that's
some people sometimes we drive each other crazy. So
the spice of the relationship that's it
right
needs
after
to
14 years, you gotta have some spice in there.
totally. If all that's the same question to your mom, will be the same answer.
Um, one word for me. I think she'd say proud.
Hmm.
And then negative. I don't know. I don't think she would say anything negative. I
I
don't.
see. All right.
I don't think she could say that. And like even David too, like I don't know. Like I think he would just say like because he loves to joke and like be sarcastic, so he would just be like, oh, you know, you drive me crazy. So, but I don't think either one of them honestly have like
Nope.
something mean to say, which is why I love them both so much.
Totally. And crazy is not a negative thing. It's just a way to express, the way sometimes we are. Sometimes we are so
Yeah.
full of energy, you know what I mean? And even though, we love this person, but it's just a way to say that they're a
Oh
little bit.
yeah. I'm generally sometimes an anxious person, you know, so
Yeah, yeah.
I'm always leaning on, you know, David to like, hey, what should I do? What should I do? And like I'm sure that gets tiresome. But at the same time, that's like, you know, he knows he's like I can always come to him to like ask him anything. And he hates
Absolutely.
talking on the phone, but he'll talk on the phone with me. So
Oh, he had no choice. I'm joking.
he does not have a choice, correct. And if he doesn't answer, I'll just call again. So
Oh, sweet. Let's play now, Nick, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, Nick, you can ask me a question now.
okay. I've been thinking about this, and I think now that I know that you've come to New England, did you try coffee milk when you were here?
Great question. My God, great question. I don't remember, to be honest. I don't remember because you know, as a tourist, you're kind of, taking pictures someplace. We walk, you're sitting down to have a meal and, going for a drink and, sleeping, tired, walking again. I don't remember that, to be honest. I really don't remember. I'm talking to you now. I'm kind of, I have this image of me walking around this beautiful city, but I don't remember now. We had some coffees, we sit down for some cake.
Hmm.
We did for sure, but exactly this one I don't. And tell me why there.
So I bring it up because it is actually the Rhode Island's official state drink. It's just basically it's milk with coffee syrup. Now, when I was younger, I loved it. Now as I'm older, it doesn't really agree with me, like you know, milk. But um, it's just something I tell everyone to try once because it's just something like Rhode Island's so small, a lot of people don't know about it, but it is something like a fun fact about it is that there's coffee milk. So if you ever come back to like the Mass Rhode Island area, definitely get a bottle. It's like called Autocraft. I can send you a picture of what the bottle looks like if you want to try it. You could probably order
Totally,
it. I don't
totally.
know, but it's not groundbreaking, but it's like, oh, okay, like it's literally coffee flavored milk. And I love iced coffee, but it's different.
That's amazing. Actually, I'm gonna double check with my friend because we tried some things, but I'm not sure if we tried this one. But if I didn't, I would like to try for sure. That's for sure. Did you enjoy the interview, Nick?
Oh my God, I had such a great time, William. And like I feel like I met like a friend
Yeah.
on here. You know, I felt being like I was so comfortable being vulnerable on this interview with you, and you know, I've been excited about it all week, and I didn't know if I was gonna flop or mess up, but it was fun.
Thanks again, Nick. And I'm going to tell you something now. I think it's, what I like the most about the show. It's about, somehow the platform here, the Magic Box, through the questions, let people be very open, honest, vulnerable. The feelings come along, the emotions. And I think what I like the most about the show is about that. And trust me, I think it is a connection because, as you said, I feel like I know you as well, I've known you for a long time because when you have a connection with someone, we are in a safe place to be, and I
Yes.
think that's great. So I appreciate your time, appreciate your comment as well, and I think I couldn't be here if I didn't have this connection. And trust me, you are having the best William right now. When I'm here, it's the best William anyone can have because I feel the greatest. Talking to so amazing people around the globe. People like you, very passionate. I can feel your passion about your life, about yourself. And I think that's amazing. That's why the connection starts and we feel like we're just having a talk right now. I just remember I'm recording when I look here on the side, because for me, just having a talk with a friend. So thanks again for taking the time and to be part of the show as well. Thank you.
Of course, William. Thank you. And
And
I just have
before,
one. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Okay. I would have to say I watched a video on TikTok recently from this person called Diva Colin, and it was so funny because
Okay.
like they were talking about like I'm a certified diva or whatever, but there's a quote that I did love in it, and you have to flop to fly, and it was funny, but it's so true. And you have to like he was saying like you have to let go of the fear of posting or doing things because that in itself is a flop. So just get up and go and do it.
Okay.
And I think that, we're both content creators, right? Like you're always interviewing things and look at how like you've come such a like probably like a long way since you started. And that's like I'm just kind of like trying to start to and figure out my place. So I would just say to anybody listening, like, if you're like William wanting to do interviews or myself wanting to do videos, like don't be afraid, just do it. And it's okay if you flop because eventually you'll land on William's show and get an interview like this and the things will keep building. So
Beautiful, beautiful,
no,
beautiful. Thanks again for the interview, and we keep in touch. And I'm looking forward one day to come to Rhode Island for sure again. Okay?
yes, I'll show you around Providence
Yeah.
and it'll be a great time.
And I'll wait you in London as well with David, okay? For a coffee.
Oh God, we've been dying to go to London. So I know someone there. So yes, you can show us around. We cannot wait.
I will for sure. I'm gonna make like a very good, road in London for sure. You're gonna love it. Okay?
Yes. Thanks, William. Have a great weekend.
You too. Regards to your mom and David and your friends, and you keep in touch. It was a pleasure having you on the
I
show.
will.
Okay?
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye-bye. See you next time.